Hello, this is our presentation of the exhibition museum. The Timeline Museum is divided into 8 different rooms. Each one offers different exhibitions in which you can enjoy and learn about the history of the 17th and 18th century.
The first room, old-fashioned. It bears the name because it is made up of utensils and accessories that people used in those years. We have in this room 5 combs carved from whalebone, circa 8th century, 10 silver pendants and brooches originating from Sweden, medieval kitchen utensils and bronze keys, a number of stuffed animals, and remains of Roman clay pottery and mosaics.
One of the important rooms is Captures of History. It bears that name for presenting images of important events such as excavation of the Roman salt deposits, photos of the great floods of 1947 and 1963, spread in the Netherlands during the night of January 31.
The third room is battles and war. In this we have Saxon axe heads, helmets and shields, and a skeleton of a Roman soldier with a sword and helmet.
We have the Inhaixi room. It bears the name because it is mainly composed of 3 exhibitions, which are the one a life-size replica of a Viking ship. It's the most important in the room because it is an exact replica in which you can get an idea of the immensity of these ships. Other is a sextant and telescope compass from the 18th century, and the other is a large map of Australian coastline. You cannot miss an old route. This map is an authentic map of the Australian coast. And the continuous room is a hell on board. This room is complemented with the previous one, since a collection of surgical instruments used on board ancient ships. Some of these instruments are very rough. That is why this room has an age restriction and is viewed with the consent of the visitor.
The literature room is named because it presents text, books, and important artifacts for world literature, as great discoveries were made in them. There we can find a first edition of Isaac Newton, mathematical principles, manuscripts dating back to Saxon times, a plan of a Scooby Hall in 1432, and 18th century inkwell and writing materials, a book on the origin of place names.
The ancient daily life room bears that name due to the exhibits that are in it, which relate how life was like during the 15th and mid-20th century. The four exhibits that you can see in this room are engravings and paintings showing life during the 18th century. These engravings describe life during the 15th century through artist expression, which you can also see in paintings. A list of words that were used to be spoken in the local favorite. Each this list you can get an idea of the way of living at the time. Audio recording of local residents. With this recording for the mid-20th century, you will not be able to imagine the way of life, but you will also be able to listen to conversations of the residents, which will be translated by an interpreter. And to finish with this room, you can see a collection of vacant and section coins and medals. The innovation room of the epoch is called like this because in it there are two exhibits that are advanced for the 7 models of windmills. You will be see the windmill models that were used at the time, which were undoubtedly a great advance in technological innovation. Steam engines used to pump water. These steam engines are machines that were used to pump water. They are different from the engines used in locomotives and steam cars.
The gift shop. The items that will be sold in the gift shop will be cups, engraved mugs, key rings, small figures that are replicas of our exhibits, such as the Viking ship and the armory that is exposed. Local jewelry, postcards, and carved wooden pictures will be sold.
And finally, the projection room. The idea is to be a museum that educates children in a fun and not boring way. That is why we implement a projection room in which videos will be projected every hour, explaining in a simple and a fun way each of these 8 rooms of the museum. It is important to mention that these activities, as well as the museum capacity, is only for 30% of capacity due to the health crisis of coronavirus. And on the other hand, the museum follows all the health guidelines. Our staff use all the time face mask and all the time to thus offer a quality and safe service for you. And that's all. Thank you so much.